Hey guys, Michael Furlonger here for another Bible study with Mike, I believe it's called. In the last two videos, first video took a bit too long, so I'm trying to break it up into smaller ones. The first small one, I discussed the words exegesis and eisegesis, which I'll put in at the end of the video. I'll put up there. Try to remember to put it there to my left. Put up there if you want to watch that. That's very important that we get these texts, these terms right as we are growing in our knowledge of Scripture, our knowledge of God. The one word I didn't get into for the sake of time was the word Narcigesis. Now, I looked it up on Bing, or you can look it up on Google, the word Narcigesis, so that you guys can know that I'm not, doing a deep study on this. It is very simple to get this information. I'm not the smartest man. I'm not the sharpest knife in the donut shop. Donuts. So you guys can just read along with me so that you know that it's all available. So this is just a simple definition. Narcigesis, or first off, let's the Classical Mythology. A mythological youth named Narcissus, or Narcissus, depending on how the C is properly pronounced, fell in love with his own image. He would go to the water and he'd look down at the water and it would reflect his image, and he just loved his own image. So Narcigesis is when we read Scripture and it's all about us. We're reading Scripture, we're like, it's all about me, it's all about me. The example that I'm going to use is David and Goliath. This is 1 Samuel 17. I encourage you to read it. I'm sure you've been to these services, you've heard this online or somewhere, where the pastor, the speaker says, well, you're the David and that job that you want, well, that's a Goliath in your life and you're just going to have to conquer that. Or any number of situations it is. But sometimes God won't give you that job. Sometimes it's not God's will for you to have that job. I always use the example of a man who really wants that job. It's going to take a lot more work to his job. He's already kind of neglecting his family as is because he's so busy. But God might not give you that job. You might be knocked down to I used to work at a golf course. I'd wake up at 5 in the morning, get there at 6, work till 2, and then I have the day off. Now imagine, as a Christian, as a father, you're now able to spend time with your kids. You're picking them up at school. You're going to their baseball practices. We don't know the full will of God on this particular matter. So when we read the Bible, we need to read it as it's meant to be written and understood, not thinking that it's all about us. So here's a little story about 1 Samuel 17. David, the youngest brother of 7, he's not in this war. He's maybe like 12 or 13 years old. This guy named Goliath, he's huge, he's a giant, he's a Philistine, he's not of the Jewish people. He's laughing at the Jewish army, saying, why are you guys such wimps? Come on, bring it. I paraphrase, of course. David, the youngest of brothers, gets word from his father, say, go take some food to your brothers. They're in battle. They're probably hungry. David gets food, takes it to his brothers. His brothers say, what are you doing here? You're just here to eavesdrop, to get a good story. Right? You're just as brothers tend to do. I'm the youngest. I know what it's like to have my intentions misunderstood. Anyway, David, he's wondering what's going on. Why are we not fighting this guy? They're all scared. David says, I'll go do it. King Saul, he's king at this time. This is not Saul who becomes Apostle Paul. This is Saul of the Old Testament, first king of Israel. Saul said, no, you can't. You're just a kid. He's been fighting his whole life. And this is what David says. Okay, so we're just going to read one paragraph. I encourage you to read read the whole Bible, actually, if you got the time. But this is 1 Samuel 17. I'm reading 4 verses. So this is verse 34. But David said to Saul, your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Now this is important. Your servant has killed both lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine, so this person who is not of God, this ungodly person, will be like one of them, because, okay, this is important, because he has defied the army of the living God. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine. Saul said to David, "Go, and the Lord be with you." So this is just a very basic, that it wasn't because David wanted that job. It wasn't because David wanted that house, wanted this prosperity, whatever it is, right? It is because this guy, this Goliath, the real guy, has been making fun of God. So if I were to teach on this, that is what you're going to get from me, is that it's not about you conquering the Goliath in your life. It is about Goliath laughing at God. It's about holding God up